You just heard Auditor General Daniel Yao Domelevo. Very strong words there from him. He was describing Ghana's asset declaration regime. In fact, one of the key mandates of the Audit Service, and for that matter, the Auditor General, is to receive and keep asset declaration forms of public office holders. He has to produce them on demand by Shraj and the Chief Justice. Otherwise, there is never a time anyone in Ghana knows what assets our public officers have. This is what has made asset declaration as a tool for fighting corruption a very controversial matter. There's no verification of the asset. Thus, this is an area that remains hotly debated in this country but appears largely untouched. Elsewhere, non-disclosure of assets is leading to people losing their jobs. As you might have heard, on Friday, January 25, 2019, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari swore in a new Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, after suspending the then Chief Justice, Walter Samuel Nkanu Onogen. According to news reports, the Nigerian president cited the hearing as the Code of Conduct Tribunal relating to Onogen as the reason. Justice Walter Onogen has been accused of failing to declare his assets before taking office in 2017. That is how hard Nigerian authorities are coming on things that appear like corruption. So today on Corruption Watch, we will focus on assets declaration as a mechanism for fighting corruption using case studies in Ghana and the recent case in the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Now, the partners for Corruption Watch are Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, GACC, Joy 99.7 FM, Africa Center for International Law and Accountability, ASILA. You can find us on Facebook, Corruption Watch Ghana, Twitter at CW Ghana, Instagram, Corruption Watch _GH. The website is stopcorruptionghana.org. The hotline for Corruption Watch is 055-453-6586. The WhatsApp number is 055-453-6295. The hashtag is Wanamoni, hashtag Ghana Bre. It's also sponsored by Strengthening Action Against Corruption Stack. The segments for today are Just Like Us and Anti-Corruption School. On Just Like Us, we bring you international best practice on what other countries are doing to address the corruption issues we are dealing with here in Ghana. We will be joined on the phone from Nigeria by Mr. Awal Ibrahim Musa Rafsanjani, Executive Director for the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, which is the Nigerian chapter of Transparency International, like our Ghana Integrity Initiative here. He will help us get some learning on assets declaration regime in Nigeria and its effectiveness or lack thereof in the fight against corruption. Now, on our anti-corruption school segment, we bring you resource persons to share their knowledge of the anti-corruption cases and issues we feature on Corruption Watch in order to deepen our understanding of the issues. Our resource persons in this segment is Mrs. Beauty Emefa Nate, Executive Director, Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. She will help us understand the asset declaration regime in Ghana, as well as focus on Ghana's case in comparison with the recent case in the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN. Now, to get us started, let's provide the background and context to the asset declaration regime in Ghana. Helping us do that today is Head of Investigations here at Joy News, anti-corruption investigator and journalist, Manasseh Azuriawuni. Good morning, Manasseh.
Good morning, Daniel.
Yes. Your relatives in your hometown.
No, these ones are not from my hometown. They're from somewhere else.
It's good that I'm able to squeeze in a laugh. It's been a very difficult morning with the story that we were discussing earlier. But it's Corruption Watch. So give us the background to this issue, shall you?
Well done. You know that one of the biggest issues or problems with our country when it comes to the issue of corruption is our inability to explain the sources of wealth of people and to even track such wealth. And so it is not because we don't have the laws. As far back as 1998, and I think it's about 21 years ago, there was a law or an act of parliament, Declaration of Assets, Liabilities and Disqualification Act, that's Act 550. And this was mainly to ensure that whoever is elected into public office is able to account for what they have. I think most of the time we forget about the other side of it. We only talk about the assets, but there's an important aspect of that act which also talks about the liabilities. So if you are elected into an office today and you don't acquire any asset at the time you are departing, but if you're able to establish that at the point of entry into public service, you had a bank loan of 10 million Ghana cedis, and when you were leaving office, you did not owe the bank, you may not have acquired new assets, but your liabilities,
richer.
Yes,
actually,
but your liabilities have been paid.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the assets and then the liabilities. And within the 3 months into coming in force of that constitution, we are talking about 1998. So from there till now, everybody who has been elected into some specific positions, and the act specifies the kinds of people, the category of persons, and we are talking about the first gentleman of the land. That's the President of the Republic, the Vice President, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and members of Parliament. We're also talking about ministers of state and then their deputies, the Chief Justice, Justice of the Superior Court, Chairman of the Regional Tribunal. We have the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice. You are talking about the Commissioner and all the deputies there.
Yeah.
Ambassadors and High Commissioners, Secretary to the Cabinet, Head of Ministries of Government Departments, and all of those people. And recently, I think it was last year, the Auditor General, whose voice we heard, actually made a very startling revelation, because sometimes it is impossible to list all of these. And he said that at the time, that if there's any public officer whose salary was 3,700 cedis and above,
okay,
one or such a public officer qualified to declare their assets. So he mentioned about directors in the civil service. That is the range of their salary. So if you're a director in the civil service and or upwards, you are to declare your assets. Mainly, we often talk about the politicians, leaving those bureaucrats who are in civil service.
Yeah.
So these are some of the backgrounds to this act. And when we want to look at what has really been happening, we know in some way we are compliant with the African Union Convention on Preventing and Combating Corruption. And it's caused Ghana's asset declaration regime in two parts. One, it agrees that we comply with the law, but when it comes to the implementation of the law, that's where we fall short as a country. And like the Auditor General said, nobody really knows what is in that piece of paper.
Exactly.
And it will be interesting to know, or to even ask the Auditor General, when President Mahama was leaving office, did he declare the assets he had at the time he was leaving office? Did his ministers do same? The appointees who served in the regime, did they do it? And how are they able to track? Because that piece of paper, which is sealed in an envelope, is given to them and nobody even follows up to know what is on the ground.
I actually had a recent government appointee tell me at the time he was declaring his assets that, look, it's just a piece of paper and you seal it in an envelope. I mean, I could give them a blank sheet, and then as long as you know you don't do anything untoward, or you don't get caught at least in your regime, you're home free.
Yes, and the way it is, beyond even giving the blank sheet, if I know that I'm going to be in a lucrative ministry, there are some ministries they call lucrative because
Very true.
there are a lot of shady deals there that
Lots
ministers
of
make a
contracts.
lot of money. So if I know that by the time I'm leaving office, at least I should get 5 houses, 2 in Trasaco, 1 in East Legon. So if I don't have those houses now,
You can just list that.
I
you
can
have
just list them, that I have them. And by the time I'm leaving office, if I am compelled, as it should be, to declare the asset I have at the time of leaving office, when I list the 5 houses, and you compare it with what I listed when I was getting into office, you find the 5 houses. So this man has been honest. He hasn't acquired anything. So we have the laws, but when it comes to the implementation and how that is supposed to help us combat corruption, we find ourselves very lacking. And it's not only about the asset declaration. You can talk about the political parties funding and all of that.
Exactly.
So this is the problem we have with our asset declaration.
Thanks a lot, Manasseh Azuri-Awuni. Very detailed and lively background to the issue that we have. So we know what the problem is really. At this point, we know that the law itself, as you heard the Auditor General say, is not very effective. In fact, before we proceed, we'd like to play for you one of the most famous pronouncements that Mr. Domelevo has made about the state of our assets declaration regime. He called it a joke in this voice clip. Listen.
When I assumed office, I got to know about the asset declaration also. I took the Constitution, I read it. I took the Act, I read it. And I concluded this is not asset declaration, this is asset concealment. I said, what do you call declaration here? Here's the declaration over here. And exactly what he suffered as it was in the beginning is now, I don't know whether it will be continuing. So we are still moving on the same way. People come, they collect the form, they bring back sealed. And only God knows what is inside the form. And of course, I can tell you that mine, I think it contained the form. So when I was declaring mine to the presidency, I didn't seal it. Because I said, how do you seal this and just give it to someone and say you have declared? So I said, here is my form. You want to have a look at it? Then I questioned myself, how can you just look at the form here and relate it to assets which are kilometers away and bank accounts which you don't have the statement and etc. supporting it? So in summary, I think I agree with you. It's a joke. It's a complete joke. What we call asset declaration in Ghana is a complete joke. We either forget about it so that we free up space in my office, because it's also eating up our space. So it's better we forget about it and free up space for my staff to use, or we should do it well. I don't even see why we can't do an online submission of this form. It is verified and archived electronically. We don't need that paper. One of the biggest problems I ran into was when I just came to office, within a week, there was a new government. The president and the vice were the first two who rushed in to come and collect the form, and they wanted to submit their declaration. So I asked my colleagues, are you ready to receive? They say yes. Something just occurred to me. They say, okay, so when you receive, what do you do? They say, we issue a receipt. I said, bring one of the receipts, let me see. They brought a receipt, 1969 receipt, Constitution receipt. In fact, I don't think you produced it, was produced before you came. I said, how can we be in 2017 and we are under 1992 Constitution and you are issuing as a declaration under a different old Constitution? Guys, that cannot work. I don't want to open myself to radical.
That sounds like a joke to me. Doesn't it sound like a joke to you? Daniel Yao Domelevo, he is the Auditor General, describing the assets declaration regime as an asset concealment regime, something that is quite frankly a joke. Now the question really is asset declaration still relevant for our times, or should we seek another avenue for preventing the loot of the state? We'll have answers to those questions shortly, but in the meantime, let's find out how asset declaration is working in Nigeria in our Just Like Us segment. We've been joined on phone from Nigeria by Mr. Awal Ibrahim Musa Rafsanjani, Executive Director of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, which is the Nigerian chapter of Transparency International. So you can say he's the head of Nigeria's version of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, like we had Lindo Forikwafu in our studios yesterday. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Rafsanjani, all the way from Nigeria. Hello, Mr. Rafsanjani.
Yes.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us from Nigeria.
Thank you.
Awesome. And how's Nigeria this morning?
Well, Nigeria is doing well.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's not easy times. We did the news of the
Yeah.
removal of the CJN just a few days ago. And this suspension, if I should say, over the alleged failure of the CJ to declare his assets. First of all, what legal framework provides for assets declaration in Nigeria, and what is its effectiveness or lack thereof in the fight against corruption?
Implement under the Nigerian law, it requires that every public asset holder must declare his or her asset. And earlier to do that, it tantamount to a breach of the law that should not be allowed to put. There's no way you want.
Mr. Rafsanjani, sorry, we are getting some. The line is not so clear. Can you reposition yourself and speak up a bit for us?
Okay, yes. I'm saying that under the Nigerian law, it is expected, it is mandatory, as a matter of fact, that every public office holder must clear his asset, or her asset, and failure to do that is tantamount to the breach of law, and therefore, there's no provision in our law to say that you have not, done this, because it constitutes a serious breach of law. So it is expected that every public office holder must declare his assets.
Hello? Hello, Mr. Rafsanjani.
Yeah, are you hearing me?
Yes, we lost you for just a moment. Hello? Unfortunately, we are having a slight challenge with the line. We'll take these important messages and try and establish a good connection with Mr. Awal Ibrahim Rafsanjani as he gives us some context and some insight into the Nigerian example so we can draw important lessons for Ghana. Stay with us. This is Corruption Watch on the Super Morning Show.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
It's the year of the car owner with Enterprise Insurance. Just dial *714*556#. Choose update your details, follow the prompts, and voila! You are in for surprises that will make your head swell big. Surprises like mobile data, useful car insurance tips, and many more. Remember, updating your details even helps to speed up the claims process. Car owner, this is your year. Insure with Enterprise. Dial *714*556# and update your details now.
Enterprise, your advantage.
Yeah! But people, are you ready for this? Yeah! Now when I say
Thanks again for staying with us. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Corruption Watch, to be precise. On the line with us is Mr. Awal Ibrahim Rafsanjani. He's the Executive Director for the local chapter for Transparency International in Nigeria. It's called the Civil Society Legislative and it's called CISLAC. Let me get it right. And Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center. It's the Nigerian chapter of Transparency International. Awal Mohammed Musa Rafsanjani, he's joined us on the line. We are talking about the removal of the Chief Justice as part of the asset declaration regime there. We had a slight challenge with the line, but we've rectified it. So let's continue our conversation. So, Mr. Rafsanjani, you were telling us how key this asset declaration regime is in Nigeria.
Yes, it is very fundamental because some people, some public office holders, because of the pervasiveness of corruption, they even do anticipatory declaration of the asset, so that by the time they come to office or they finish their tenure, they would have had in their account a large chunk of money that they did not actually have at the time when they declare their asset. So that is why under the law you must declare the asset and then it must be verified. So although there are challenges in terms of the personnel that even investigate this asset, because some of the assets are based in country and some of them they are outside, and the number of the people investigating this asset, they are not really much in the Bureau of Public Bureau of Code of Conduct. So there's a challenge of personnel, but that is not to say any public office holder will take advantage of abuse of the trust given to him or her. So that is why it is a fundamental issue. So if you lied in your declaration of assets, it is a breach of the law and it has its own consequences. And if you underreported, or overreported, it is also a breach of law.
Now, in relation to asset declaration, precisely what are the issues surrounding the suspension of the Chief Justice? Because, again, international bodies have had reason to question this decision by Mr. Buhari because the next election is so close. They say that it could in some way be a move to influence the outcome of the election.
Well, I think what happened, is really unfortunate, and it really is not really good, development, because the government could have done this, in a good time, without allowing the election to come before they take this action. Because no matter how sincere the government want to, show to the public, many Nigerians and the international community are definitely interpreting this, as a calculated attempt to make sure that they have judiciary at their hands, at their pocket, in order to influence the outcome of the election. So that is on that other side. But on the other side, we also want to plead that every public office holder, whether in the legislature, whether in the judiciary, whether it is in the executive, must also follow and comply with the law of the land. Otherwise, the impunity will continue to reign in the country. So the removal of the Chief Justice of the Federation, or rather the suspension, it has no place in our constitution. And what the executive has done actually is wrong. And we call the attention of the executive to recall back the suspended Chief Justice of the Federation. And then the Chief Justice of the Federation, also having confessed that he has forgotten to clearly, state all that, he had as assets, we felt that he also lost moral responsibility to preside over the judiciary in Nigeria. But, you cannot use one wrong to collect another wrong. The government did wrong, by suspending this, Chief Justice of the Federation, because it has no place in our constitution. You cannot undermine an independent, arm of government. Judiciary is an independent arm of government, and therefore, tampering or undermining it, the effectiveness of the judiciary will tamper with the democracy, and therefore we oppose that kind of,
that move by Mr. Buhari,
and democratic way of, suspending or removing the Chief Justice of the Federation, because you can see clearly the whole country and the whole, world is condemning this act, and we therefore will not encourage any act of impunity, any act of unconstitutionality, any act of, undermining the integrity of judicial system or independence of judiciary.
Now, Mr. Rafsanjani, would you describe this as a precedent? And if so, what does it mean going forward? Because, like you just pointed out, this move seems very arbitrary. Mr. Justice Onogen was appointed by this same government in 2017, and this move is being made in 2019. It looks like, for want of a better expression, a macho show of power by one individual, the president, or one government. So what would you say are the implications going forward?
Well, I think there's a larger implication, which I think even the government itself, had acknowledged, given the outcry that, is accompanied with. I think the action was a hasty action. It was an arranged action. It was a calculated and, action for political advantage. And I think, it should be condemned. It should not be tolerated, because if this thing is allowed, there will be, political impunity in the country, and democracy will also be threatened. So therefore, our stand is that we must follow rule of law. We must follow due process. The process in which the executive has followed to suspend the Chief Justice of the Federation is illegal, it's unconstitutional, it's not professional, it has no decorum, it's not democratic, and therefore we condemn it in its totality. So at the same time, we also condemn any public office holder who will refuse to declare his assets, knowing the consequences and knowing the obligation, the constitutional obligation, on him.
Right, Mr. Rafsanjani, on that point of the importance of declaring assets, what word do you have for Ghana and other African states seeking to enforce strictly the assets declaration regime?
I think if we really want to stop, grand corruption in Africa and, Ghana, Nigeria, we must impose asset declaration, because this will clearly show, this is what you have, before you become public, before you are given an appointment. Because many people in Nigeria and Ghana and other parts of African countries, they use political offices to enrich themselves. They siphon public funds. So it is through asset declaration verification that we'll be able to establish, what you have declared, whether it's authentic, whether you have it or whether you are hiding, whether you are under-reporting or you are over-reporting. If we don't enforce this, especially in countries like Ghana, Nigeria, where a lot of public funds are siphoned, where a lot of public funds are looted, we will not be able to see development. We will not be able to end conflict and violence, because as a result of corruption and the development is happening in Ghana, in Nigeria, and other parts of Africa. As a result of corruption, we've seen how violence and conflict are happening. As a result of corruption, we'll see how unemployment, and completely hopelessness in our countries are happening. So what happens in Nigeria really is a reflection of what will happen in Ghana. So the Ghanaian politicians, Nigerian politicians, they are almost the same, So we call on the Nigerian and Ghanaian politicians, especially the politicians, to be more sensitive, more responsive and responsible. When you are giving political leadership, responsibility,
right.
It's not a lesson for looting and stealing of public funds.
Right.
It is a trust that is given to you in order to serve the people, in order to provide responsible and accountable leadership. And that is absent in many instances, in Nigeria and Ghana as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Awal. Ibrahim Musa Rafsanjani. He's the Executive Director for the Nigerian chapter for International Anti-Corruption Agency Transparency International. In Nigeria, it's CISLAC. That's the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center. We are coming back home now, and we will go straight to the phone lines again for our anti-corruption school segment. Our resource person will be Beauty Emefa Nate, Executive Director for Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. It's true that, yes, this has been condemned, but there are still this action by Mr. Buhari has been condemned, but there are still some important lessons when it comes to asset declaration in Ghana. We want to distill those lessons from what has happened. We'll be back after these messages to do just that. Stay with us.
Since it's our 40th birthday at Rana Motors, we're extending the celebration with 40 days of Christmas. Join us at all our Kia showrooms and enjoy up to 22% discount and a 40-inch TV with every purchase. And much, much more. With Rana Motors and Kia, the Christmas spirit will last for 40 days this year. For more info, call 0249-911-444. Kia, the power to surprise.
Let's go,
My name is Kwame Sefakai, and most of you know me as a media personality. But I am also a family man. The UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, saves me so much time by letting me do almost all of my banking transactions on my phone. The cardless withdrawal feature allows me to withdraw cash from any UMB ATM without an ATM card. I can also pay bills, transfer money, request for a loan, invest money, and so much more. So now, I can spend less time at the bank and more time with the ones I love. Bank anywhere and anytime with a UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, and get the time to do what you love most. Download the UMB Speed App from your Android, iOS, or Windows phone today. Call 0302-633-988 for more information. UMB Speed App, Digibank, let's go!
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week, I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Ojam, why you make quiet like that?
Oh, Charlie, I'll go do some POP, give somebody where the cornice is not fine, cry.
I always they tell you, see, for decorative roses and cornices, the solution be interface. Them have different imported cornices and roses in different designs and shapes. Installing them be so easy, and it go give your customer the finishing he wants.
Ojam, take me go interface right now before I lose this customer.
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at www.interfacelimited.com.
FPAC is effective for headaches and relieves the symptoms of flu, colds, and catarrh. FPAC blows away the pain associated with sore throats. During and after a hard day's work, FPAC relieves you of body pains. After the day's sports workout, FPAC helps the body to control the aching muscles. FPAC is effective against feverishness. FPAC reduces body temperature associated with malaria and other fevers. FPAC is effective against rheumatic pains. You can find FPAC in all pharmacy and chemical select shops throughout the country. FPAC is not recommended for children less than 16 years of age, ulcer and asthmatic patients, pregnant and lactating mothers. If symptoms persist for more than 2 days, consult your doctor. FPAC blows your pain away.
FPAC Junior follows in the tradition of FPAC tablets, a trusted friend to relieve your child of pain associated with teething, catarrh, cold, and fever. The good that FPAC does for you, FPAC Junior does for your child. FPAC Junior is for children between 6 months and 12 years. FPAC Junior blows your child's pain away.
Kofi, yankwada adiasa.
Mamina hakakra, enchemeba.
Entuntum wa hapao. Minji ndi sa opesa o yare biu.
Sweetie, me ya yare o. Mi ti Ode mesrew. Onko drugstore ho onko pedro bi mreme.
Ade na wo my uncle hospital. Eho de ye be hu ade pot na eyo. Na doctor ahweso ama wano aduru.
Eye pa se Kofi ko hospital ma doctor hwehunu de na ha no pot ma no aduru pepepe. Nipa bebre ne firi omu pemu koto aduru wo pharmacy shop wo bra won hwehwe hunu ade e ha wo mo. We betimi di sunsun aso bone aba omo apomuden so. Enye fever bia na ye malaria.
Anti nurse ni, my malaria test no. Ane, Kofi wo malaria ampa.
Doctor actually say Kofi infa ACT.
Kofi, Bomodia se ubefa ACT edro no. Senya ya chere wo no pepepe.
Odo eye pa se bae. Medro ni aka ni o. Manom senya esi chere me pepepe. Na onim bribi.
Eji sa wo ka chere me.
Efi ene ekọ no. Ye fi ha de ye ne malaria to kwanta ya pai kra.
Asem de. Na mama bi sa wo anadwi. Ehi fa ena obeda.
Wa wunim. Medo se de mosquito net ya hye na dro no. Eno nko ase ne beda. Abrabapa boni ye eye da bia adeyo. Enkan boy if we Ghana Health Service any USAID eho.
Morning show. Our money, wanna money, our money, wanna money, our money, wanna money. Yeah, Sydney, je suis arrivé. Qu'est-ce que la nation soit sur les Ghana? Arrêtez le babalache. C'est moi, Ritu. Sydney back again. Yeah. Now no anymore. What you say now? Squad alongside Man and Morris. Babyface. What you say now?
Welcome back to Corruption Watch on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Daniel Dazi. We just came back from Nigeria where we were speaking with Mr. Awal Ibrahim Musa Rafsanjani, Executive Director for the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, which is the Nigerian chapter of Transparency International. We spoke to him on the removal of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, by President Muhammadu Buhari because of the failure of the CJN, Mr. Walter Onogen, to declare his assets. Now, Mr. Awal Ibrahim Rafsanjani believes, okay, this is a good move to remove someone because the person did not declare his assets, but the timing of the move is wrong because there's an election in Nigeria in just a few weeks and it's been colored in the wrong side, in the wrong light. We, however, have a lot to learn from this action from Mr. Buhari, and to help us glean those lessons is Beauty Emefa Nati, Executive Director for the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. She's joining us on the phone lines in a moment, but before I speak to her, fire insurance for public places such as hospitals, schools, restaurants, fuel stations, and gas stations are compulsory, and other similar places are compulsory, just like motor insurance. So you need to speak to J&G Insurance Brokers, the insurance professionals, for advice. J&G Insurance Brokers negotiate a great insurance deal. That's our business. Call Dr. Gideon Amenyedo, the senior insurance consultant, now on 0244 333 335 or 0504 333 335. Now, data doesn't deserve to have an expiry date like food and drinks, which can get spoilt. So say goodbye to all data bundles that expire and use the new Airtel Tigo Big Time Data Bundles, which have no expiry. And no expiry means you get more time to use your data how you like, when you like. Simply buy an Airtel Tigo scratch card, dial *126*, the scratch card pin hash, and enjoy more data than anywhere else on the network that gives you the most. Airtel Tigo. Let me go straight to the phone lines now and speak with Beauty Emefa Nati. Good morning, Beauty.
Morning, Daniel.
Great. So there's a sort of a mixed reaction from the civil society in Nigeria about the move by Mr. Buhari, but it's still a great move in the face of anti-corruption generally, is it not?
Thank you very much. Good morning to all your listeners, and then Happy New Year since it's my first time coming this year. When we look at asset declaration, indeed, it's a very powerful tool to prevent corruption and also helps in preventing or detecting illicit enrichment and conflict of interest. So looking at the Nigerian situation, three key issues come to the fore. The first thing we see is that after the declaration of assets, there is the potential or possibility to verify the declared assets. So the issue that is currently pending regarding the asset declaration of the CJ meant that there was opportunity to even verify the declared assets to be able to detect anomalies or inconsistencies in the declaration. So that is very important. Unfortunately, that is lacking with the Ghana asset declaration regime. Another important element also has to do with monitoring of the declaration. So in monitoring declaration, you are able to detect changes in lifestyles of people. For instance, where somebody is earning at a certain level and then suddenly they have shown a lifestyle that is more than what they are earning. So once you are monitoring, you are able to compare it to what they have declared, because there is an opportunity to verify the declared asset.
Right.
Yes. And then the third element has to do with punishment.
Okay.
Punishment is also important in this case. For instance, the action was taken, there was some recommendation. Even though we all agree the circumstance or the way things were managed in the Nigerian case can be debated, but I'm looking at the issues or elements that is brought to the fore.
Right.
The fact that people can be punished is also important. So this, when you bring it to Ghana, those were the weaknesses that we already identified in the Ghanaian.
That's the Auditor General also alluded to.
Exactly, because one, our declaration is not verifiable. When people declare their assets, we don't know what is contained in the assets, so we are not sure what is declared. So how do you verify that? And just to bring us to this instance where the Minister for Finance, that was about the bond.
Yes.
Where
When
he was accused of
Shraj,
issues of conflict of interest, and Shraj investigated and actually talked about his not declaring his asset. It meant that until a court case is activated or an investigation is activated, we don't have opportunity to see the contents of the envelope. But that is also something that you find interesting in the Ghanaian law, because there is nowhere in the law that we are told or written where somebody has to declare the assets in an envelope. It's not in the law.
Okay.
So it is a practice that has been done over the years and have been accepted as the norm. So it is not it's not legal. It has no legal reference in terms of where assets are put in a sealed envelope. So that's one of the things that we believe should be discouraged.
Okay.
Even where we don't have the law in terms of verification of assets in place, we should even discourage. So the Auditor General should discourage that by opening the envelope, and let's see somebody challenging that and taking it to court.
Okay.
So we'll see how that plays
how
out.
that happens.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
But, yes, we also have a law or a bill in place, which is the Conduct of Public Officers Bill. The last Parliament could not pass it. It's still pending, and we are hoping that this current Parliament will be able to pass that bill.
Okay.
So we will have the verification element activated in our laws.
Thank you very much, Beauty Emefa Nate. Thanks for joining us so much. She's the Executive Director for the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. And this is where we wrap up today's Corruption Watch and today's Super Morning Show. Kindly reach us on the Corruption Watch hotline 055-453-6586, on WhatsApp number 055-453-6295. The partners for Corruption Watch: Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, GACC, Joy 99.7 FM, and the Africa Center for International Law and Accountability, ASILA. Our sponsor for Corruption Watch is Strengthening Action Against Corruption Stock. My name is Daniel Daze. We're just going to take these 1 or 2 messages, and then Mama Vio Uso Abuaji brings you the news at 10. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 minutes to 6 a.m. As we always do, have a super day.
If you buy gold, you will save money, because gold lasts longer.